For most of us, smartphones are a key part of our lives, yet that can cause issues for many families. A growing number of them want to say no to screens while their kids are younger. One new book called The Tech Exit is giving them help on just how to do it. Jenna Browder has the details.
Phones, phones, phones. They are at the center of nearly everything we do. And more studies show they're often more harmful than helpful, especially for young minds.
Most of the parenting books on technology kind of accepted this premise that at some point your child will get a smartphone and social media, so here's how to mitigate the damage.
Clare Morell flips that notion on its head in her new book, The Tech Exit, a practical guide to freeing kids and teens from smartphones.
But my research had shown me that screen time limits and parental controls really weren't enough to fully and sufficiently protect kids from the harms out there. And so I had this hypothesis of, I think this is possible. I want to find out if people have done this. How have they done this? So because that book didn't exist, I wrote it.
A mother of 3, Morell set out to find those who made the change.
So I had 4 teenagers all together. I kind of just got through those 4. And now I have our baby is coming up as a teenager. She's 14 now.
Maureen Ferguson and her family in Potomac, Maryland are among Clare's featured families. Maureen says she could see the dangers of smartphones and social media early on and made the decision to say no. Getting their children on board started with education.
I had all of my kids watch the movie The Social Dilemma, in which these tech executives explain how they addict kids. So my kids kind of had the attitude of, okay, I don't want to be manipulated. I understand now how these social media companies are trying to addict me and how they're trying to manipulate me and manipulate my thinking.
They also found friends who didn't have smartphones.
I teamed up with other moms to say, hey, let's make this easy. You know, we're entering the teenage years. How can we make this easier on all of us? It's easier on the kids and it's easier on the parents to just keep your kids off of it entirely, at least until they're older, at least until their brains are kind of wired up a little bit more.
Each of Maureen's kids got a dumbed-down phone or simple flip phone when they entered high school. I asked if their social lives suffered for it. To the contrary.
I mean, here in our backyard, they would have spike ball tournaments, or they would go for hikes, or, I got a ping pong table for the basement and, bought lots of M&Ms and soda so that my kids would hang out in my basement and whatever, play board games and that kind of thing. So I think I helped them to develop a really rich in-person social life so that they didn't feel the loss of the sort of, fake social media life.
After they completed their college applications, Maureen gave them smartphones, usually in their final semester of high school. For families that have already given their kids these devices but want to give the Tech Exit a try, Clare recommends a 30-day digital detox.
So setting aside 30 days on your calendar and coming up with a plan of activities of what you're going to be doing those 30 days instead, like actually making it fun and exciting for your family, something to look forward to. We're going to do these excursions or we're going to do these family game nights, trying to actually structure the time and replace the screens with real life activities.
The next step is to follow Maureen's example of finding other families who might join in the effort, whether that's at your kid's school or even church. The book also includes a section on engaging your faith community. And finally, finding those alternatives, be it a dumbed-down phone or something else.
I had this hypothesis going into the book that this was possible, and I kind of wanted to learn how. But what I came out of interviewing all these families thinking was just not only is this possible, this is the best possible thing we can do for our kids. And that the benefits are just overwhelmingly positive, that the tech exit is really a positive no. These families saying no to the smartphones and social media are saying yes to so much more in real life.
I asked Clare how parents should participate in this. She says you can keep your smartphone, but to be mindful about how you use it in front of your kids and to set a good example. Jenna Browder, CBN News.
Well, that's a good way to end it. Let the parents set a good example. I get reports about the amount of screen time I have in any given week, and it's always very dismaying how much time am I spending on these devices. Here's something that maybe you don't know. There's coming a sort of reasoning gap in culture, and it curiously is related to how much money does your family have? If your family has enough money for books and outdoor activities and that kind of thing, then you are actually going to develop higher reasoning skills than someone who is on these tablets and smartphones. That for me is really chilling and oddly surprising. But if your child is hooked on these screens, you're actually dooming them to a future where they do not have the capacity for long concentration and the reasoning skills you need in order to compete in an information society. That is incredible to me. So please do whatever you need to have a tech exit. The book is called The Tech Exit, a practical guide to freeing kids and teens from smartphones, and you can find it where books are sold.